Hello lab members and Steins fans, Shorthaired001 here, and episode 6 of Steins 0, the anime released last Wednesday, and this was a highly anticipated episode because it was going to be the episode version of the orbital eclipse. And as we all know, this is where the shaman girl meme comes from, which is probably the biggest meme in Steins history. So that said, I watched the episode, played the visual novel, and let's talk about the differences. So this episode follows the chapter Orbital Eclipse, which is on the road to Kurusu ending. And as we saw in the episode, Kagari is being introduced a little bit more now, we get to know more about her, and at the start there was some pretty weird fan service of Kagari's breasts. Back in the day, I used to praise the original anime because it had zero fan service at all and it was just purely based on the story and the characters. And it's just sad that we can't say that about this season anymore. I feel like all the characters have been getting breast upgrades already, so I don't get why they would have a shot of just Kagari's breasts while they're talking about her. Seems kind of weird to me. And the animation during these scenes were kind of meh too. It's not too bad, but it's not the best as well. But that aside, we talk about Kagari a little bit more. We see the fairy Upa, the old one, introduced again. And we talk a little bit more about Kagari being Mari's daughter. Now after that, Okabe in the visual novel texts Mueka saying that he found her, or that we already found her. But in the anime, Okabe decides to call her instead, and he goes up to the roof. He calls Mueka saying, hey, we found her, we don't need your help anymore. And Mueka replies, well, not weird, but she's already confused that they found her. She's like, oh, they found her already, bringing more mystery and possibly the idea that she's still working as a rounder, trying to find Kagari as well. Now after this, we have a scene with Maho just doing her thing, and she's being teased by Reis about her being into Okabe, and she's being, again, a little sin. This doesn't happen in the visual novel. Instead, you go to the shrine, you talk to Rukako and to Kagari, and here's where they get invited to become shrine maidens. Well, this all happens after the Maho scene in the anime. Now after this scene, in the anime, we switch over to Daru and Suzuha talking about Kagari, and they're really trying to put emphasis on the mystery of Kagari. Well, in the visual novel, they don't talk about it that much, and here they're really trying to push you into that mystery. And after this scene, they had the Kagari flashback, again, to really push you into that mystery of who Kagari is and where she's coming from and why she has amnesia and all that. Well, in the visual novel, after the shrine, Okabe goes to meet Maho in Akiba. So after that scene in the anime, you see Okabe and Daru being really awkward outside, and they're talking about them having to go to the shrine today for New Year, and you don't really know what's going on until afterwards when you find out they were waiting for the girls to get ready and go all together. Now in the visual novel, they're all inside together and they're preparing to go to the shrine together. Now in the anime, during this scene, you had more stuff with Brown, and as I said previously, he's my favorite character, so I like seeing him more. And Nai looked really damn cute with her new outfit, which she doesn't have in the visual novel too. So here we are, we're at the shrine, and we're waiting for what everyone's been waiting for, the shaman girl's meme from Leskinen. But before this happens, you actually see a really in-depth look of what's happening in the shrine and everyone having fun together, and I like that. They don't go that in-depth in the visual novel, so it's good to see everyone just having fun and doing their thing. Now after this, we actually do see Leskinen coming up, and he's too late, and he's asking where the shaman girls are, and this was a little bit disappointing because it was just so funny in the visual novel, and in the anime it was just cut short. He was there for a few seconds, and then he left again, and he got dragged. The only thing I really liked about Leskinen in this episode was his facial expression. It looked amazingly bad. But besides that, I think we're going to stick with the visual novel memes instead of the anime memes because the visual novel was better at this part. So after this, we're back, we're having New Year in the lab, and everyone's eating together, everyone's having fun, and this follows the visual novel pretty well. They just talk a little bit, they have fun together. Maho introduced Amadeus to the lab members and Mari's friends for the first time, and that was pretty cool. Happened just like in the visual novel, and we're reaching our conclusion of the orbital eclipse. And now the most interesting part happens, I think, which is, I think they're the rounders that storm into the building and they point their guns at the lab members. And you notice that one of these rounders is wearing a sumo mask, and if you have played the other visual novels from the Science Adventure series, you know that this is actually from Chaos Child, and they use that against Gigalomaniac. So the main theory is that they think that Okabe might be a Gigalomaniac, so they're having that just in case, but that's a really awesome little reference. And that was everything we could talk about today. And honestly, I think I was a little bit too hyped for this episode. It was good. There were some really good parts, especially the entire shrine happening itself, but unfortunately, Leskinen wasn't as funny as in the visual novel. But yeah, again, that's all we can talk about today. I'll see you guys when episode 7 releases. El, Psy, a kangaroo.